We are ready to wrap up the day. I'm going to invite Farhad to share with us some concluding thoughts because he's been there from the beginning to the end and he knows the field extremely well. Farhad?
So first, thank you very much, Ravi, for having me here. And as I said, every time I come to a conference like this, I learn so much and I take so much away from it. So when you ask me to make a few closing comments, based on what I've heard today, about 5 things come to mind. Number one is, and it's particularly pertinent and apt that it happens at a university because we have lots of young people in the room, young people who have some family business connection as well, and some who don't, but we have many who have family business connection. And I think the most important thing, and we heard this very effectively in Kim's presentation today, is the ability to attract the next generation into the family business in the right way. Because it's the next generation which can transform a legacy business. And it's that right balance between leveraging the experience and expertise of the senior generation or the other generation, I think it's a much nicer word, and the drive, competence, technological skills that the next generation has. So it's that ability to bring the next generation into the business in the right way. The motives to join the family business for the next generation sometimes there are 3. There's first a sense of obligation. Sometimes there's a sense of entitlement. And neither of those 2 are the right reasons for the next gen to join a family business. The right reason is that passion, drive, fire in the belly, and we saw 2 examples of that earlier today. 2 great examples of that. And that's what you need to bring to the family business. So whether you get involved with the legacy business, whether you do something separate and independent, there was a question in the coffee break from one of the young people here who said, well, I've got this passion to start something on my own, but I can still be connected with the legacy business and I can still do something for the legacy business, because there's a mutual benefit both ways. Third, in terms of working with the senior gen, current gen, and the next gen, I think needs a certain element of compromise on both sides. There needs to be patience with the next gen to make all the changes that one wants to make. A certain element of patience is called for. And it also needs a certain element of perseverance. So you don't give up. You have to keep trying and bring your senior gen to conferences like this, because they hear from others, they hear examples of how it's been done in other families, in other family businesses, and very often that's the most effective way of learning. Fourth, how do family members who are not involved in the business become good board members? We heard that statement from Jamshed Godrej earlier today. So the things that they can do: influence the brand, influence the values, actually not influence the values, but preserve the values, okay? And see, I think we heard from John as well just now about it's the owners, as good owners, you can actually influence what the business does and how it does things. So the culture of the organization can be preserved by family members, even if you're not involved as an operator. So to be a good owner and be active as an owner. And then finally, the fifth, and this is something which we didn't talk about too much today, but I think is very, very important for us in family business. And that is to be able to attract great and the best non-family talent in our family businesses. That's a challenge we have. And it's a challenge we have because the narrative for family business is not necessarily entirely positive. And it's something which we need to do. And I would encourage, eminent family business professors like John and Kim to influence their other colleagues in business schools and other parts of universities to share some of the great research which is already being done on what good family businesses do, and the good stories, the good examples of successful family enterprise. Because what hits the press is all the bad stuff. That's what makes the news. And we have to kind of build the narrative for a lot of the good. The majority of stuff is good stuff. And we've got to actually get those messages across such that we build a better narrative for family businesses, and it becomes an aspiration then for people to join family businesses as an attractive career. Because I think if we can do that, combining it with all the other positives, that ability that we have, learning about the business from the time we're 8 or 9 years old, sitting around the dining table, understanding the business that we are in, understanding when we need to change, when we need to move to something else. And then you have great people who have the best possible skill sets, to work with you, where you can share your purpose and goals and then let them do it. I think we have a winning combination then. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been a long day. I'm just going to wrap this up with a few brief remarks. My big takeaway from this session and from some of the reading I've done is that family business is potentially a very useful tool for society to achieve growth, progress, business development, and so on. It has obviously many benefits. It has the long-term perspective that the families bring. We say if only managers would act like owners, well, let's make the managers owners, right? Which is the idea of the family business, is a way of bringing that alignment of goals so you don't have the principal agent problem that we wrestle with all of the time with other companies. But how do you achieve all of the benefits of the family business without getting into the traps and the disadvantages of family companies? I think has been really the topic that we've explored. And Farhad, you summed up very well. And John, you walked us through all of the things that family members need to do in order to be good owners. And Farhad, you talked about the main takeaways. And what I heard you really saying is, and you even said it in as many words, how do we keep the good things of the family business and find ways to deal with what could become weaknesses or disadvantages? And then you can have the best of all worlds, which I think is a very powerful lesson. Given that family businesses are accounting for 60, 70% of the large companies in many of these countries, it seems like this is a really important topic. And I think we've had a wonderful day exploring the topic. But I just want to thank a lot of people. Finally, before we wrap up, the people who really make this kind of an event possible. So first of all, of course, I have to thank the speakers. And I will start by thanking our speakers in the room, Farhad, John, appreciate very much your time. Farhad, you're coming to Boston to join us from California and staying with us through the day and giving us your insights. Also, the other speakers who have spoken today, Gaurav Dalmia, Jamshed Godrej, Meher Padamji, and our two young alumni. Asha has come from India. Vidhar is a neighbor, but I know what it's like in the MBA program at HBS. It's a pressure cooker, although second year is a little different from first year. He's now in the second year. But thank you, both. Really appreciate it. So thanks for all of the insights that you freely, candidly shared. I want to thank also my colleagues, Kim and Jay, who served as moderators, and now my friend and colleague on the advisory board of the Center for Emerging Markets, Ashish, for spending the day with us and also moderating the opening session. Thanks to the professional team here at EV17. We have a tech crew, we have the video crew, we have caterers, we have volunteers. Any volunteers in the room? Stand up, please. Please stand up. Thank you all. Thank you for giving us your time. I want to thank the audience for being here. Without you, we have nobody to talk to. Thank you for coming. And also Vivek and Vandana Sharma for their generous gift, which has made the series possible. Last but not least, I want to recognize Catherine Slomsky. Catherine, identify yourself, please. Catherine has worked tirelessly on this for the last so many days. This is the third summit that she's organized, and I think we can tick the box, successful. Yet again, Catherine, well done. Thank you all for coming. I want to ask the speakers if you just come up to the front for one group photograph, and then for the rest of you, we hope to see you on our future events. Thank you.